What's up and welcome back to another video. Today we will be talking about the top 5 mini bosses inside of Borderlands 2 that you guys should farm. I don't want to waste much time, but I do want to go ahead and explain what a mini boss is for those that do not know. A mini boss is a boss without a very large health bar, such as bosses like the Warrior, the Handsome Sorcerer, raid bosses, etc. But for example, all of the bosses like the Ravenous Waddle Gobbler, or the one that you fight in the Hallowed Hollow, the big pumpkin guy, I don't even remember his name, but you guys know who I'm talking about. All of those are eligible for this list, but in terms of raid bosses, none of them are eligible. They're not mini bosses. For example, the first mini boss that you can actually encounter inside of Borderlands 2 is Knuckledragger. Then you will move on, and the second one you can actually encounter is Mong. I don't want to waste anyone's time, so I just want to go ahead and hop into the list as quickly as I can, but really quick, I need to go ahead and say that this is not a personal favorite mini boss list. This is the best bosses that you should farm, meaning the ones with the better drops in the game and the easier farms, the ones that are going to help you out in late game and early game. No matter what character you are on, these farms will help you in all ways, and I will explain when we get into each one. Coming in at our number 5 spot, we have a boss located in the Iridium Blight, this one being a legendary Easter egg. You guys should know where I'm going with this. It is King Mong. In case you guys didn't know, this is an Easter egg about King Kong. If you guys have never seen any of the King Kong films, it's about this big gorilla, and they go to his island, and it's like Skull Island or whatever, and it's basically they invade his land, right? And then they go and they end up, he's fighting dinosaurs, and it's a crazy movie if you guys have never seen it. It's honestly a classic in my opinion. Just a throwback to those amazing monster movies, the good old days, especially for me, because I grew up on King Kong, Godzilla, and also a lot of horror movies. But besides being a badass Easter egg, he has 2 different places he can spawn in the Iridium Blight. I will show the other spot now on screen. And then I also want to show you guys the legendary that he can drop, which is the Bada Boom rocket launcher. If you guys don't know about this beast, it can put out not only some of the best damage for rocket launchers in the game, but you can also rocket jump around if you get a low level variant of the weapon. There are some specific parts that you will need to get the best version of a rocket jumping Bada Boom, but in my opinion it doesn't really matter. I don't really go for perfect parts all the time, but I do understand the challenge of it, and it is very fun to farm for your perfect weapons. You can get the rocket launcher in all elements, including explosive, and I recommend you do so, and I really don't have much more to say about it. King Mong is a complete legend, and if you haven't farmed him, go do it right now. Don't be an idiot. Coming in at our number 4 spot, we actually have a boss from a Headhunter pack. Can you fucking believe it, people? It is Tender Snowflake, ladies and gentlemen, and I'm sure you guys didn't see this one coming, but in my opinion, he is one of the best mini bosses that you can farm in the game, bar none. And in case you guys didn't know, you guys will need to complete the Marcus's Mercenary Day DLC to actually do this one. It's a super easy Headhunter pack, and you guys can complete it within about 15 to 20 minutes. It's really not that big of a deal. Once you get towards the end of the DLC, you will face a giant snowman known as Tender Snowflake. You will have to hit these bells, which will then ring the signature jingle, and then out Tender Snowflake will come from the ground. Tender Snowflake isn't very hard on any of the difficulties, whether it be normal, TVHM, or UVHM. Even if you're OP10, it doesn't really matter. You're pretty much mopping up a pile of puke every single time, which I always think is funny. After you kill him and take off his hat, he literally flattens out, so he literally looks like a pile of puke. So that's pretty much a good way of explaining it. Tender Snowflake himself doesn't really drop anything, even though I know of a few Vault Hunters who have actually gotten several world drops from him. I've never seen any from him personally, but I have seen tons of legendaries and tons of pearls from the chest. And you guys all know what chest I'm talking about. The train. The big ass fucking chest. The biggest chest you can open in Borderlands 2. I only did 3 runs of this today for this video, and I got legendaries on 2 of the runs that I did. One being a Lyuda, so I mean, what the hell, man? You really can't complain about this. It's a super easy kill. All you gotta do is mop him up, run up there, get your train, and that's it. save and quit, repeat the process. Coming in at our number 3 spot, we have a boss located down in Lynchwood. You will have to do 2 different side quests to actually unlock this one, and that is the Sheriff of Lynchwood. In case you guys didn't know, you guys will need to break into the bank and go kill Mad Dog, go get the bombs. You guys know the drill. You basically just need to do those side quests that are at the bounty board in Lynchwood as soon as you spawn in it. You really can't miss it. Once you complete those, you will eventually unlock the dual quest, and then you will need to go and face the Sheriff of Lynchwood. Not only from turning this in will you get the Deputy's Badge, which is one of the strongest relics in the game, she can actually drop another relic called the Sheriff's Badge, which in case you guys didn't know is the best pistol damage increaser in the game. In terms of relics, if you're running a pistol build on any character, in Salvador, I know a lot of people who play Sal love to do pistol builds. This is a relic that is a must-have, and that is why the Sheriff of Lynchwood lands right here on our list. The only thing that warrants her from getting any higher on the list is that she is kind of a long farm, and for that reason I do put her right here at number 3, but a respectable placement nonetheless. This is also a pretty easy drop to get for me. I usually get it within about 2 or 3 runs, so it's usually not that big of a deal and not too hard of a farm. So if you guys don't have the Sheriff's Badge, please go get one. Don't be stupid. And now let's move on to our number 2 spot. Coming in at our number 2 spot, we have Savage Lee. I'm sure most of you guys have killed this man over 1,000 times by now, and I don't really need to run through what this guy drops, but I'm gonna go ahead and do so just for those of you who are curious. Savage Lee can spawn in 2 different spots, one being a 100% spot, which is actually up there around the area where you walk through the bones. There's two different spots where you can walk through, and you could go up through that hill where Corporal Reese is located during that story mission. That is one of the locations, and then the other one is right behind the fast travel as soon as you spawn into the Three Horns Divide. It is not a guaranteed spawn, but occasionally you will get 2, and that is why I mentioned that, and now I can move on to what he drops. He drops the Unkempt Herald Legendary. Now, of course, it is not a guaranteed drop. If you guys want to watch my how easy is it to get, I will link it down below, or my fastest farming guide for it. I will also link that down below. This weapon's a super easy farm, and it is a must-have legendary on any single character, and I literally mentioned that in my last top 5 if you guys didn't see it. I mean, this weapon is just all around, it's a freaking monster, man, and there's no one who can argue with me that the Unkempt Herald is not one of the best guns in the game. Honorable mentions are going to go to Hunter Hellquest and Old Slappy. Hunter Hellquest, obviously, he can drop the Beast Shield, which I think is one of the better shields in the game, especially if you can get the rare elemental versions. And the amp damage, it's a freaking boss killer, man. You can melt through shit like it's nothing, and I love it. Old Slappy, he's a great XP farm for one. If you guys didn't see it in my playthrough, I farmed him for XP, and it was absolutely nuts. I may be making a new video on that sometime. If you guys want that, comment down below. But in the earlier playthroughs, I actually love the Striker as a weapon as well, and I know a lot of people like to stack with it on Gauge, so those are my reasons for my honorable mentions. And coming in at our number 1 spot, I'm sure a lot of you actually didn't see this one coming, but I think it is warranted. It is Knuckledragger. Now I know this is going to be a controversial pick, but in my humble opinion, being such an easy farm, if you hit the southern shelf door and turn right around, you will be able to farm Knuckledragger, who is the first mini-boss you encounter inside of Borderlands 2. He is a story-driven boss who will respawn every single time you save and quit. And I'm sure you don't need my dumbass to tell you that he drops the Hornet. But anyway, let me go ahead and talk about that beast of a freaking pistol. A lot of people underlook it when it is one of the best weapons to use in the peak on any freaking character. And if you guys keep watching my playthrough, I will prove it to you on Krieg. I have gotten all of my characters to max level using a Hornet in the peak. I farm one every single OP level once I'm there. I'm serious, guys. You guys need to farm this Hornet. It is a monster of weapon. This is not just the first legendary that you get in the game. This weapon, I'm telling you, there's something about that balance of it when you're working on the loaders and things like that in the peak. It is a beast. I mean, you guys have to listen to me. You have to. And without Knuckledragger being that first encounter, without seeing him rip out Claptrap's eye, I mean, he gets way more backstory than some of these mini bosses, you know? He gets an entire cutscene, and Claptrap was talking about him before we even see him. So you felt a connection to this boss, and you felt a connection to Claptrap when you're killing Knuckledragger to get his eye back. Do you guys disagree, or do you have any mini bosses that are your favorite? Go ahead and comment down below. Let me know what kind of top 5s you guys want to see next, and with that, I will see you guys next time.